Welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And it's Friday, and there probably won't be a show tomorrow. So that means it's AMA Day. Of course it is. It is AMA because I always want to give you guys an AMA every time that I possibly can to make sure that you're getting more of the questions and stuff out that you want to get out. But I always started, as you know, with something interesting. And boy, there was some interesting stuff that happened. I didn't know when and how I wanted to bring this up because I have so many other things I wanted to bring up. I've been bouncing stuff around all over the place, deciding what should be the thing I chat about today. What would I get you up and running and started about? Well, you know it's going to be good. So already put this someplace else. Don't even think. Don't think. Why are you thinking? Stop thinking. No. You want to take this and put it someplace else, whether that's the repost, share, whatever it is, the thing that you must do to put it someplace else so other people can see this. Please do this right away. It does matter if you can swap this out someplace else. I appreciate it. So if you can do so right now. And then, of course, there is that thing. You know it. You can press it in any way you like. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. You know what I'm talking about. Do it right now so that it pops up so that people see and go, oh, this must be interesting because people have clicked that special thing that they're supposed to click. Yes, do so. Do that. People will then pop over and watch, and we'll have more people watching. So please do it if you can. You know that YouTube does not like me and will only show me to the people who are already subscribed, if even that. So please do that. And lastly, when it comes to that, do me a favor, make sure that you are subscribed and that you clicked all notifications. Because if you haven't, YouTube will not send it. You probably won't anyway. But please, guys, to the best of your ability, I got to have this grow. I have to have this grow. So help out to the best of your ability to make that happen, please. Every bit does matter. All right, so what am I talking about today? I'm talking about what actually happened here with Mamdani's victories last week. Now, for those who don't know, Zohran Mamdani he had many candidates, but he had three specific congressional candidates in Democratic primaries that he supported. He supported them over, over the establishment support. In fact, two of them were basically incumbents, and he beat them. He won every single time. He won every single time. You might go, wow, that's powerful. It is. It is powerful. So you might go, okay, well, great. That's fine, Larry, if it's powerful, but that doesn't really matter, does it? Well, everybody's pissed off. And you might go, what do you mean, all the establishment? Not just Republicans. In fact, sadly, this is the worst part. The establishment has learned nothing. Some insane reason Republicans are doing what they always do. Well, that's not true. That's not true. What they recently have been doing. The Republicans of 2026 have become the Democrats of 2016. They've just swapped places 10 years ago. The Democrats did not see Trump coming. When they saw him coming, they would not hear it. When Trump was winning, they would not get it. They just the Democrats just ignored, and we got it. And they called him names, and we'll just call them names. We'll be fine. Republicans doing it now with Mamdani. Same thing, changing nothing, just calling him names. Act like no. I don't know why Republican establishment has said, oh, you remember how the Democratic establishment destroyed themselves in 2016 and got Trump elected? Yeah, why don't we copy that with Mamdani? Why did they do that? They did. They're literally doing that. But to be forward, if you remember when that was happening, there was a chunk of the Republican establishment that hated Trump and they were leaving or changing everything, blah, blah. Okay. I think I picked one of the best ones. I think I did. And what I picked was James Carville. I thought you guys might enjoy that because James Carville, boy, that guy gets upset. And he starts hooping and hollering. And he was indeed hooping and hollering about this. He was not all happy. He wasn't like, yay, Democrats are winning. Oh, no. Mr. Carville's not happy about that. Mr. Carville is all about the establishment winning.
The developments, most notably this incredible sweep here in New York City and Mamdani flexing his muscle. We are joined by Democratic strategist James Carville. James, great to have you on the show. Mm-hmm. So the headline the Axios headline this morning says, Socialist earthquake leaves Democrats reeling. One Democratic lawmaker said, holy shit. SHIT, buckle up.
That, yeah.
A Democratic strategist said, quote, "We will not stand by."
Yes, this is Letitia James, the current Attorney General in New York State, said, faults Mamdani for blowing up Democratic Party. And all you people up there tell me, oh, the Democrats are controlled by Mamdani. They're not controlled by Mamdani. They're failing to control him. There is the difference. James is, she will win her election. So she doesn't care about what Mamdani thinks. James is going to win her election. She does not care. She knows it, right? By the way, right now, so does Hochul. I'll cover that in a second too. But yeah.
As our party contemplates writing this road to ruin, are they just all, is this his?
In the same thing Republicans said about Trump in 2016, it's the same thing. In 2016, Trump will destroy the party. Trump will ruin everything. And what did they do? Did they make any changes to deal with the issues that Trump was trying to deal with and talking about? No.
Hysterical reaction, or are they right?
This is 90% hysterical reaction.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Carville is old, but Carville is like the granddad of the Democratic Party. He is a party elder. For those of you who don't know, people still listen to him. People still pay attention. He's one of the ones who said, and I hate to say it, he said, don't do anything. After Trump won in 2024, Carville said, and you can check it out, I'm not making it up. He said, Democrats, go to sleep. That's what he said. He said, do nothing. He said, don't have new policies. I'm not joking. He literally said that. He said, do nothing. Just lay there and wait for Trump to screw up. Sadly, he was right. But that's what he said. This guy, and what did Democrats do? Nothing. Now, here's the problem. While Democrats are doing nothing, Democratic Socialists were doing a whole lot. They were organizing, as I've been telling you. They got more Mamdanis popping up everywhere because Mamdani's charismatic and Mamdani's running stuff. He's being charismatic. So Democrats did nothing. I think the Republicans were going to fail and screw up and do like Iran or something. And they did. He was right. Carville judged Republicans correctly, but he didn't look in his own house. He didn't look in his own house. Trump hasn't been looking in his own house either. And I keep telling these guys, look in your own house first before you start going out someplace else. Look in your own house. Carville ignored his own house. He's doing about it. And here come the DSA.
3 seats in New York City. Okay, come on. Let's get real.
2 incumbents. Hakeem Jeffries is the leader in the House, and he endorsed the opposite guys that Mamdani endorsed. The opposite. And the Democrats went, I don't care about you, in a primary. In a primary. Imagine if Speaker Johnson and Donald Trump endorsed the dude, and then, I don't know, Thomas Massey endorsed the other guys, and Thomas Massey won all 3. Their heads would explode. That's unthinkable in a Republican primary. Unthinkable. Unthinkable that Thomas Massey would say, here are the 3 guys I endorse in any city in the entire country. I don't care if it's Lexington, Kentucky. I don't care. 3. And then Hakeem Jeffries, I'm sorry, I insulted them both. Donald Trump and Speaker Johnson endorse the other one, and the Massey guys win. Unthinkable. Happened here, and Carville's utterly delusional. Carville is utterly delusional.
By the way, 2 of them, I don't think are even Democrats. This Chevalier lady, they should not seat her in the caucus. Her views are totally against anything that any Democrat has. We believe in
That's not true at all.
Pluralism. She doesn't even believe in interracial dating.
Yeah.
I mean, who would? I don't think there's a place in the party. By the way, I'm not sure she wants to be a Democrat. Go do something else.
Listen to what he says. I'm not sure she wants to be a Democrat. She doesn't. She hates the Democratic Party. But listen to what he says.
Something else. Form your own party.
Why don't you let us, asshole? Let us. I've been trying for 8 years. You and your Democratic bullshit won't let us. And when they do, when the left creates the Green Party, which is the Socialist Party, which is where she would go, All you do is shit on them, get mad at them, get angry at them, and then throw them off the ballot. So she said, oh, you going to throw them off the ballot? I'm going to come get you. Oh, you didn't like that, did you? Yeah. You got your mouth open, Baldy. Then how about instead you let us have a goddamn party? How about that, wise ass?
Yeah, you're talking about Dario Lisa Chevalier. She wants to abolish ICE. She at one point wanted to abolish police. She wanted to abolish all deportations of any.
So all they do now is insult and say, see how bad she is. Okay, she's got all this stuff. Democrats, what's your answer then? Oh, nothing? Oh, nothing? So your answer is nothing. Well, when people are in trouble and hurting, and she says, do some stuff, what do I say all the time? What have I been saying for years that none of you listen to? When people have the choice of no answer or a bad answer, they take the bad answer every time. So if I can't pay my rent, my kid can't read, and idiots like Carver go, yeah, Trump's evil, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what's your answer for me? No answer? That's fine. The socialists got answers. I mean, terrible ones. But they have answers. The socialists do. Gonna tax the rich and give you free buses and whatever. Okay, so I can stay horrible, or maybe these guys will give me some free buses. Okay. I'm not mad at the people for voting these guys because you give them nothing else. You give them nothing else. You won't let us have another party. You won't let us be effective. You laugh at those ideas. You laugh at them. Not just the left, by the way. I will cover that in a second, too.
One anywhere. In past social media posts, she called veterans war criminals, called President Biden a rapist, said COVID came from.
This is the same stuff they said about Trump. Remember Trump? They said, "Oh, Trump called he called McCain a loser or whatever. He hates veterans, whatever." This is the same. Republicans have become of 2026 have become the Democrats of 2016 and learned nothing. Learned nothing. This doesn't work. If you don't have an answer, people will take the bad answer every time. And they don't care if she's all these bad things. They insulted Trump. They insulted Trump in 2024. They called him every word known to man, and the guy still won. He's president again, second time. Will you ever learn? You can keep insulting her, and she'll be the next president of the United States. Keep insulting her.
France, not China. Who is this person? And she just unseated an incumbent Democrat.
She is not a Democrat. Okay,
yes, she is.
That is pretty clear.
That's not clear.
Frankly, I think
that's your party, homeboy. You lost your party. You lost your party because you sat in your ass saying, "Let's go to sleep. Trump will screw up," and you didn't watch your house. Lost your party.
A lot of Democrats feel like I do. I don't have any problem, just no washed-up consultant. But I wouldn't seat her. This is not who we are, and we should just say,
"Yes, it literally is." She won in the primary. This is who you are, brother. She won in the primary. This is literally who you are.
Duly elected. Have you seen Congress? You're not getting any committee assignments when the Democrats get the majority.
Yeah, because when you take away her committee assignment, that'll teach her. What do you think she'll do, you idiot? What do you think she'll do? She'll go, "Oh, they didn't give me a sign. I'll just do nothing." She is a rebellious young thing who doesn't care. She will devastate you. And Mamdani will be behind 100%. She will devastate you. You must find an answer. Otherwise, there's nothing. I'll stop sharing that piece. I want you guys to see that was Democratic side. Oh, no. You might go, "Well, that's fine because Republicans won't say that." Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. All right. This is from the Young Turks, but it is about, and this is why I'm using the Democrats again. The Young Turks love this. They've been wanting this forever. So they're winning. They're winning.
News for progressives, bad news for the establishment. And it was enough to send Stephen Miller into a little whiny rage fit as he attempts to call the Democrats every name he can think of, every insult that occurs to him. And I want to show it to you. Take a look at this.
The Democrat Party has abandoned all of that, and they have instead adopted this radical, revolutionary, and in many cases, violent ideology that wants to.
I don't understand why the Republican voter listen to this guy anymore. What he's saying now, he said 8 years ago. Stephen Miller says the same thing no matter what happens. He said the Democrats are violent and blah, blah, blah. He said that for 8 years. Never changed his insults, same insults. So now that Mamdani wins, he changes nothing. He says the same stupid stuff forever. He just insults.
Tear America down and destroy everything that we know and love from top to bottom, right? Living in a state of total anarchy, without police, without law enforcement.
He said anarchy, Bruno. He said it. Does he get points for that? Is that one? He said it.
Where criminals can rape and maim and murder with impunity.
He said that in 2020. He said that in 2022. He said that in 2024. Get a new game, brother.
Where your kids are taught from the age of 2 to hate America, to hate their God.
It doesn't work. It doesn't matter if you believe it to be true or false or anything else. It doesn't work. Do you want to gain power and win an election, or do you want to raise money? Raise money. This really works very well to raise money. This does. Because Republicans will throw money at these guys left and right. They will throw money at these guys left and right. But you're not going to win an election this way. You can get your ass kicked. I told you, I made the call already. They can't get around this. They can't stop. I remember I was saying, why can't they fix things? This is back when Mike and I were arguing about the Iran war. And I told him, I said, they can't win this war. And Mike was mad because he thought I was insulting the military. I wasn't. The military does a great job. I was insulting our system. Our system does not know how to win a war. They just can't do it. They will screw it up at the end no matter what. Our system there's no way of it doing it. It doesn't know how to do it. It's lost institutional knowledge to do so. It cannot win a war politically. We can't. It's impossible. This guy can't stop. He has no idea how to stop this. He simply can't do it.
To hate their parents, to hate their family, to even hate their own gender. That's their agenda. And no, you cannot have a middle ground with that. Ultimately,
you can't have a middle ground. So you can't. These people are ensuring violence. They're not inciting. They're ensuring it. Because both sides say, you can't talk to these people. They're Americans. And currently, our system's supposed to be that we get votes. I mean, supposed to be. And we have an opinion and people feel heard and blah, blah, blah. Well, if you don't talk to them, how can you turn them? You can't. So they're the enemy. They are ensuring they'll be on.
What President Trump is doing and what he is leading is an America First movement that says we need Democrats to come vote for us to leave that insanity, because ultimately that's just
Why would they vote for you? You hate them. Why would they? Why would Republicans vote for Democrats? Democrats hate them. Why would Democrats vote for Republicans? Republicans hate them. You show how much you hate them. Why would they vote for you? This is a Republican fantasy, right? It's about how delusional Democrats are. Here's the Republican delusion. Well, Democrats are so bad, they'll vote for us. Ask a Republican, what would it take for you to vote for Democrats? I'd never vote for them. They think the same about you. Democrats hate Republicans. They think you're all fascists. They're never going to vote for you. What's wrong with you? And the DSA, here's what one gets. The DSA victories. That's the outcome. Pissed off Democrats have the option of voting Republican. They don't. They go further left. Why? Republicans have no answer either. Republicans answer it, Democrats are evil, they're un-American, they're pro-Hamas, or whatever crap they say. That means nothing to the person who can't pay their rent. That means nothing to the person whose kids can't read. They don't care about whether they fly a flag or not. I lost my driver's license and I can't drive a car. I can't afford my car insurance. I don't care about your flag. I can't find a girlfriend. I can't find a boyfriend. Nobody cares. This is insanely stupid. Doesn't work except to raise money. So it's actually not stupid. It's stupid to win an election, but they don't care. This is about grifting. I'm showing you both sides. Both sides doing exactly the same thing.
Death knell for America.
Do you think
The
you're
death
going to
of
get Democrats
America.
to vote for Trump? You can't get it.
Thank you. This guy's correct. You Democrats vote with that? That's going to turn Democrats? And the worst part is a bunch of Fox viewers right now going, yeah, that's true. They're going to vote Trump now. What planet are you living on? What planet are you living on? It's never going to happen. And here's what he says.
Independents to vote for Trump. You're losing some Republicans.
You can't get Democrats to vote for Trump. You can't get independents not to vote for Trump. If you're going to make it up, I'm going to show you a poll on that one too. Yes. And I wanted to bring this up so you saw this was not just the right, it's the left and the right. It's both of them being utterly delusional, not understanding what's happening. Now, here comes Speaker Johnson. Now, he's going to save the day. I would do Trump, but Trump was worthless when he talked. What Trump said was, yeah, the communists did 3-0, but I did 300-0, whatever. He just started talking about his own stuff. He utterly delusional also. That's all he talked about. He didn't have an answer either. He didn't have an answer either. So the people, by voting, and I'm not, the people, what the Republicans are saying about these candidates is true. The Republicans are not lying. They're saying the truth. These people don't like America. That's true. These people don't like capitalism. That's true. People hate the flag. That's true. And people are voting for them. And again, I want to go to opposite side. Opposite side. When they were calling Trump every book, name in the book, he's a brown shirt, he's Hitler, whatever, all that stuff. People still voted for him. He still won the election. And he beat Kamala Harris in a popular vote. And my response was, well, what was your answer, Democrats? How bad is your guy or gal if they're voting for the mustache man? Right? If people voted for the mustache man, which you called him all day and all night, how bad was your candidate? Well, now I say this to Republicans. If people are voting for open socialists, how bad is your platform? How bad is your policy? How bad are your people? If someone's not buying my product, I probably shouldn't blame the customer. And again, both sides doing exactly the same thing. The exact same thing. And here is absolutely lost. Speaker Johnson. Just literally just talking to more Republicans again on a press conference.
French Hill is here. Chairman Hill did an extraordinary job in the housing bill. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I've got to address a very sobering reality that is facing the country this morning. I did it for the House Republicans, and I was pretty animated this morning. I was up late last night, as I'm sure many of you were, and you saw the result of this latest, these primary elections for the Democrat Party. The headlines this morning say it all. I've got a collection of them here. Socialist earthquake, one of them said.
Look how dismissive he is. The establishment, Democrat and Republican, are delusional. They're looking at this like, no, your house is collapsing, my friend.
Mamdani candidates sweep New York House races. These are socialists. These are Marxist in their ideology.
I'm just going to insult them.
Next headline, Mamdani hails new chapter for Democrats. One of the Chiron said this morning on the news. Hakeem Jeffries, my counterpart, the Democrat leader here in the House, was booed at some of these return parties last night. You saw that on.
They're booing Hakeem Jeffries. And he's like, whatever. Dude, you next.
Social media and some of the clips.
You next.
When he was being interviewed on the screen, the crowds in New York, in his own backyard, in the Bronx, in one of these districts, were booing him. And they shouted, "You're next."
Thank you. And so were you. And so were you. If you don't take this seriously and do something.
Hakeem Jeffries has a tall task ahead of him right now. He's got to go out and somehow make a credible pitch to Democrat establishment donors that's a good national investment right now. That's a tough one to make.
See that? What did he care about? Here is what he said, the quiet part out loud. You didn't hear him say he's got to make sure the Democratic voter cares. He has to make sure he has some policies that New Yorkers care about. He's got to fix his state. He's got to fix the country. He's got to do something. No, he said he's going to make a pitch to donors. That's all they care about. Johnson just said it. He wasn't joking. He didn't say he should. What should he have said? Man, for them to kick his ass that bad, he better change how he communicates. What's his policies? Oh, how's he going to fix New York State? Back off on something. No. Got pitch them donors. Because that's all he cares
has just
about.
proven that he cannot even hold the line in his own backyard. How can he possibly defend against the Marxist march around the country in these other districts?
Do you hear
This is not your father's Democrat Party, as we see all the time. Last night, among the incumbents who lost, Adriano Espaillat, who's chair of the Democrats' Hispanic Caucus, Dan Goldman, who was mocked for his Jewish.
I want you to see this. Speaker Johnson, right now, as you hear him saying it, he is literally defending Democrats. Why? Because they were establishment. And when it comes to Speaker Johnson, they're brothers in arms. They're all establishment.
Jewish heritage in a coffee shop in New York and maligned online because of that. The Democrat Party, the Socialists, the Marxists have nominated some of the most radical candidates to ever run for office, and they're running for Congress. The insurgent left
and they're going to win
on the rise. I was reminded all last night and this morning about the warning, the admonition from the Gipper, President Ronald Reagan. And he reminded us constantly, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction.
True.
And he said,
it's
got to be fought for, it's got to be protected, it's got to be passed along the next.
No, you have to get the people to believe in you. And whether you guys like Reagan or don't like Reagan, Reagan knew how to get people to believe in him. And you know who else gets people to believe in him? A guy named Zohran Mamdani. And he got some bad stuff coming on, and he got more people.
Generation, so that they too will know the same liberty, opportunity, and security that we've known and frankly too often take it for granted. He said freedom is not passed along in the bloodstream. It's got to be fought for. And these are the times that Reagan was warning about.
Yes, but then Reagan said things like, believe it or not, amnesty. He moved away. He retreated from the Middle East. Did you forget that, Johnson? Did you forget that? Oh, he don't want to hear that shit. Now, he also lowered taxes. Don't get me wrong. Lower taxes, which is good for the country. And he also walked away from the Middle East. Great for the country. He used the wisdom of humongous and just walked away. Yes. He also had an amnesty program. Oh, you forgot that? He wasn't anti-immigration. Oh, you forgot all that stuff, though. So Reagan's your boy when you want, but not when you don't want.
He was warning about communism overseas. Now it is on our own shores. And it is a very serious time, and every American needs to wake up and understand a threat. I want to share with you some of the lowlights, some of these candidates who are emerging through these through the processes.
So his
last
answer
night made crystal clear, as Leader Scalise said, that Zohran Mamdani and AOC and Bernie Sanders have just taken full control of the Democrat Party, of what was left of it. Across the country, Democrats have candidates winning primaries and
So I'm going to ask again. Have you heard anyone say the most important thing? You know what? We're going to fall back. We're going to do a moratorium. We're going to figure some stuff out. At least when Obama got his butt kicked, he said he was going to do a moratorium. I mean, he didn't, but he said it. And if you remember, after Obama won, Republicans said, go do a moratorium. I mean, they didn't. But let's say he said that. They're not even pretending anymore. Just going to triple down.
Through the ranks. Here's a few of them. Vang in California, one of the Democrats, she won't say the Pledge of Allegiance. Hamaway in New Jersey, Democrat candidate, socialist candidate, has ties to Al-Qaeda and other terrorists.
How? That's a lie. But how in the world? Everyone knows this. And they still voted for them. So my answer to you, Mr. Johnson, is if Americans have decided to vote for these people, Johnson's not lying it. This stuff's all true. The terrorist parts, he made it up. But anyway, the other stuff's all true. He's going to say more things. And they're all true. These people hate America. He's not wrong. And they're voting for it. Over you.
Chevalier won last night in New York over Hakeem's counter endorsement. Yep. She says she wants to abolish the border. She doesn't want a border for the country. Mendoza.
Yeah, and look, they laugh at that. People are voting for it.
In Arizona wants to decriminalize trans prostitution. Apparently that's the thing. James in Iowa wants to apologize for being white. Garriott in Iowa performed a...
So he picks a bunch of specific things to call them names, like that's going to work. You think they didn't know that when they voted for him? You think it's going to make Democrats stop voting for him? It's not. He's saying this for one important reason, to motivate Republicans to give him money. I wish I was joking. Do any of you watching honestly live? He says these things. Now all of a sudden, the Democratic socialists who voted people are going to go, oh my God, I didn't know that. I'm going to go vote for Trump. You think that's going to happen? Stop it. If you're a Republican voter, look at what your party is doing. Look at what your leadership is doing to defend you, a Republican voter, against this. Nothing. What did they say about this? What does Hakeem Jefferson do? Get donors. Where was the policy change? Nowhere. Where was the policy change? Nowhere. Where was the nowhere?
Satanist wedding, and Ben.
Yeah. He doesn't care.
New Jersey stopped going to church because Trump voters were there. This is just a sampling.
Yes, they hate you because you hate them, and you hate them because they hate you. It's what I keep saying.
These kind of people have been popping up. You've been hearing me say for weeks, there are many Mamdanis popping up all around.
So what are you doing about it?
It is a dangerous thing. This is not a joke. We're in a fight right now to save the republic. And every American needs to take this seriously. You need to wake up. This upcoming midterm election is not the midterm elections of years ago.
This is the most important one ever.
It's going to decide the direction of the country. Are we going to maintain our status as a constitutional republic on our 250th anniversary? Are we going to make a new choice and go down?
Who cares if I can't pay my rent? Who cares if I can't get a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Who cares if I can't pay my car insurance? Who cares? Why do you think youngins don't like America? Just because? Because they don't see a future. They don't
Some road towards
see
a communist
a
utopia.
future.
That's the choice right now. We've been saying for months.
No, there's no choice. No. See, Johnson just, oh, I hate them perfectly. Johnson said a whole lot of nothing. Yes, Johnson said status quo where everyone's unhappy or communist utopia. If I'm some guy who can't pay their rent, communist utopia sounds pretty damn good to me. That's why they're voting for him. What's your utopian answer? What's your I'll fix anything answer?
We've been saying it's a contrast between common sense and crazy. That's exactly what's going on. They give us new illustrations every day. And these radical candidates are self-describing, they're self-identifying as Marxist.
And they're getting voted for.
Fundamentally transform this country. And sadly, many of these Democrat candidates and their voters just don't have the same zeal and affection for America. They don't appreciate the freedom that we have in this country. They don't.
Why would they? You are just like Hakeem Jeffries. You are exactly the same animal. And if that makes Democrats, Republicans mad, I don't give a shit. They're exactly the same animal. Carville said the same thing. Hakeem Jeffries said the same thing. And now he says the same thing. Without question, Americans, did you see the layoffs? There are now people, this is a real thing, people in the tech field who are making 60, 70, 80, 90K and $90 an hour. Getting laid off. Now they got zero. Okay, want to go back to work? Sure. They come back to work, $25 an hour. I'm not joking, $30 an hour. When you saw that you just spent X $100,000 or whatever you spent on your college degree, you got a lifestyle you thought was working, now you're doing $20, $25 an hour from that? Why did you get your college degree? You could work retail for that. That's happening all over this country by the tens of thousands. People getting kicked off because of AI. People don't know what to do. People in trouble. And he's like, they don't respect our freedoms. Well, they don't have assets. The people who have assets, they love this stuff. They're like, yeah, you're right. It's terrible. But I'm sitting here trying to buy a house. I can't buy a house if I'm 30 years old. That's not a thing. I can't afford to take my girlfriend or my boyfriend on a date. I can't afford that. I can't even find a girl for a boyfriend because everybody's working 3 damn jobs. And he's like, what a freedom to do what? To go to Disney and go $40,000 in debt? Is that my freedom? The system is failing. You have no answers. You just demand that we comply. What the DSA is showing, and you know I'm not a DSA person. I'm not. You know I'm not. But the DSA exists because idiots like him and Carville and the rest won't let third parties exist. If third parties existed, we would go to the third party. They didn't. And here's what it doesn't get. If you had third parties, the socialists wouldn't be in charge. They wouldn't be. You want to end the socialist threat? Make third parties. I'm not joking. Let me explain why. The Greens were the Socialist Party, but the system destroyed them and threw them off the ballot. So the socialists had no place to go. They couldn't go on their own. The Greens had socialists left and right. They were doing it. They were being a socialist party. And they were moving the Democratic left here or there, but not doing a great job. So what happens? They go, okay, we're going to take over your party. And it worked. Why? Because they're ideologues and they organize. What the left does well, far better than the right, is organize. They are good at that. That is their skill set. That's from the communist, socialist, Marxist days. They are good at that. That is a skill set they have, and they're good at it. And they organized very well, and now they're getting your party. They wouldn't have got your party. So now your party has to begin to shift. How do I know that? Trump did it. Trump took the Republican Party over, and now he controls it. And you got to do what Trump says now. Or you pissed off Republican neocons who couldn't do it or couldn't get it because he was doing it. They had to turn Trump because Trump controlled the party, still controls the party. Look at what's happened now, Democrats. If you would have let third parties exist, this wouldn't have happened. It's your fault. It's your fault. So be mad all you want. Your fault. This was going to happen. Let me grab a couple comments if I could. CIA Torch came over on Rumble, says, James Carville looks like a mummy. Well, he is old. It's true. Space Jason says, people in New York City are voting for it because 1/3 of its citizens are foreign-born and half are Medicaid. You're not wrong. It's accurate. How could ours and these have an answer to this? New York's a foreign diaspora. You could have an answer for the entire state. I have many of them, Space. I have many answers. LarrySharpe.com. So many of them. So many answers. They're all over the place. Absolutely. So, yes. All righty. D says, can Larry shift away from the shelves toward the post a little bit? Just like, oh, you mean like this? I can do that. I'm going back and forth. Sure. Absolutely. All right. So, yeah. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Do I have anything on Instagram? I do not. And let me head down here. Grab a couple of these if I can. All righty. Ryan says, Larry tells the truth because he knows his stuff. True. That is accurate. Yes, I will grab some more comments in a minute. Let me walk down this a little bit longer, and I will.
They're not even going to celebrate on July 4th. There's a new Gallup NBC poll that came out. Did you see?
They're not going to celebrate on July 4th. I'm not sure. I'm gonna, and we should, but I'll say it again. If I can't pay my rent, why do I care about virtue signaling? People aren't getting this. Why? Think about it. I don't want to bring it up, but I will. Germany, 1930s. Why would the Germans accept a brand new flag? That's literally a foreign symbol. You know what I'm talking about. Why? Why would they accept some Austrian? Remember, the H-man was not German. He was Austrian. Why would they accept some Austrian walking in and taking over their country? Because they had no hope. If you ask all the German leadership, why did you do it? You could have said no. He was a foreigner. You changed everything. Why? They said the same thing. The H-man made us feel like Germans again. They had no hope without him. He gave them hope. Mamdani gives them hope. You don't, Johnson. Trump used to. He gave a lot of Americans hope. Now, not so much, but he gave a lot of Americans hope. So did Obama. Obama did too. Obama, Trump, Mamdani, they all gave, Clinton, Reagan. These guys all gave Americans hope. They all give Americans hope. Reagan said the shining city on a hill, right? It's morning in America. I mean, brilliant. What did Clinton say? I'm from a little town called Hope. Beautiful, right? Oh, Obama, hope and change. Beautiful. Trump, make America great again. These are great things, right? They gave him hope, and people flock to it. I say all the time. Some of you guys think it's cheesy. You're wrong. Hope works. Hope works. You can act like you don't think it's important. You fool yourself. Hope works. And what hope are you giving, Johnson? No, they won't do this. They won't. Nobody cares except your people and your donors. So again, this message you're hearing now that seems to be like to help Americans. If you're a Republican donor, this is for you. This is for you. Enjoy the message. It's for you. If you're an American voter, Republican, Democrat, they don't care about you. This is not for you. You still can't pay your rent. You still can't pay your rent. Same for you. Phil, thank you for $2. Who's better, Johnson, Gary, or Mike? Easy. I'm supposed to know that, and I'm supposed to get this one. I don't know. What am I getting? Sometimes your stuff's too. I don't get, Phil. I'm in another world. Sorry, I didn't get it. Roger says, Larry, the answer is citizen-led amendments. That's an answer. Roger, that's an answer. Why doesn't he say that then? Say anything. You're not wrong. You know I'm for it. Let's do it. He doesn't even say that. Nothing. His answer is, the commies. That's his answer. His answer is insults. That's all. I tell you this all the time. That's all they know. All they know is insults. So that's what they do. They only know insults. It's exactly the wrong answer. I think I'm going to be done with this.
Only 29% of Democrat voters that they polled said they're proud to be an American.
Look at them. Yeah. Yeah. Those are your voters. You're in charge. I want you to understand this, Republicans. All you do is insult Democrats. That doesn't make them like you. You got the House, the Senate, the presidency, and you got the Supreme Court. And they hate America. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Seriously. Now, it's been going down. So Biden too, right? I'm an equal opportunity hammer on this one. When Biden was in charge, same thing. When Obama was in charge, he controlled more than what Trump controls. More. What was wrong with him? He sucked too. The system keeps sucking and the people keep failing, and we keep having crashes and the wealth gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's been getting bigger since like the 80s. It's been, whatever. It's many years ago, maybe the 80s, maybe 70s. It's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger for like 30, 40 years. So the system keeps failing. You won't allow third parties to Roger's point, you want to come up with a plan for citizen-led ballot initiatives or for amendments or for laws. You won't allow any of that. And you just keep attacking. Well, that's what you get. That's what happened. It's
what
your
happened
fault.
to the Democrat Party? They compared the poll from just 20 years ago.
Yes, the Democrat. You've been in charge most of that time. What are you talking about? Anyway, I will pop one more of these. Last one. And this is Johnson talking to his own people. He's talking to his own people here. This is Johnson. I'll put the last piece up. Talking to his own people about this. He's going to teach them a lesson. He's talking about what the Democrats are doing, right? He's teaching them a lesson.
Their platform. Listen, this is actually quotes from their platform that they published, I think, about a day or two ago. You can find this on the internet. Okay, here.
See, he's going to now say what the Democratic socialists are saying is their platform. Now, if you're not a Republican, just listen. That's all. Just listen if you're not a Republican.
Just a sample of what they're about. They put this on paper. They're saying the quiet things out loud.
He's like, oh my God, the quiet thing. It's not quiet for them. They're openly calling themselves socialists. It's not the quiet part.
Abolish the Electoral College, replace the two-party system with a multi-party democracy.
There are a lot of Americans who want to abolish the Electoral College. That's true. That's not crazy. A lot of Americans want that. Number two, multi-party democracy. He laughs at that. Lots of Americans want that. He thinks that's crazy. Why? Because right now he's talking to his donors. Yet again, talking to his donors. Mike Johnson cares about donors, not about you. And be very clear, Hakeem Jeffries is the same. Be very clear. He's the same. Cares about his donors. That's why Hakeem Jeffries is pro-Israel. That's why Hakeem Jeffries is anti-Mamdani. Not because he cares about his people. His people can't stand that. We know that because New Yorkers have rejected him and boo him. But Jeffries doesn't care about his people. He cares about his donors. Johnson, the same thing.
Expand the House of Representatives. Implement proportional representation. And
none of that's crazy. That would be a better democracy. Both of those would be.
Ranked choice voting in all elections. Abolish.
None of those are crazy.
Establish public ownership of the largest corporations and essential industries to ensure democratic control.
And that will get his donors pissed. That was the one. That'll get donors. The rest of the donors like, okay, and oh wait, we can't have control then.
And accountability to the people. Abolish ICE and grant amnesty for all.
Like Reagan.
End sanctions on Cuba, Venezuela, and Iran.
Brilliant idea. I'm in.
Free Palestine. Quote, for a free Palestine with Jerusalem as its capital. Ooh, end all military and economic aid to Israel. Prosecute U.S. and Israeli leaders responsible for the
Look at him say that. That's all his donors. I wanted you to see this. At no point does Johnson say, here's how we're going to make things better. At no point is he going to say, are we going to, here's how we're going to fix things. At no point is he saying, here's my new plan. No. He's talking to his donors and nobody else. Talking to his donors. Now, why do I bring that piece up? Here is my last piece I'm going to bring up. And Mike showed me this, so thank you, Mike, for this. I had a feeling this was coming out. I spoke about it before, but it actually did pop up. This is the most recent poll in New York State. Most recent poll by Siena. Most recent poll. Hochul is now beating Blakeman by more. Let me repeat that. Hochul's lead over Blakeman has increased. Yes, it got more. So more people know Blakeman, and Hochul's lead is increasing. Mamdani is more popular than ever, and Hochul's lead's increasing. Yes, she's now broken 50%. Hochul's team is amazing. They are keeping Mamdani at exactly the right amount of closeness required for her to win. Perfectly done. All Blakeman does is go, Hochul's bad, Mamdani's bad, and people keep rushing to Mamdani, and Mamdani keeps winning. So why, if you're the Blakeman team, would you go, let's keep screaming about Mamdani's bad and Hochul's bad, knowing it doesn't work, knowing it's never worked, knowing it didn't work with Trump, it's not going to work with Mamdani, it doesn't work. Why would you keep doing it? For the same reason Johnson's doing it, for the cash. He just wants to raise money. If you are a Republican in this state, why would you give this guy any money? He's going to take it. Here's the worst part. Here's the worst part. People tease me about this. They say, well, Larry, if we give you money and you lose, then what? Then I'm still here. I haven't stopped. You ain't never going to see Blakeman again. Where's your last guys who ran? Where are they? Where's the last 4 Republicans who ran for governor? Where are they? You don't even know who they are. You don't even know who they are. And you live in New York, you don't know who they are. You have no idea who they are. Here we go. Another one. He'll be gone. I'll still be here. He'll be gone. He'll take all your money. He'll abandon his Facebook page. He'll abandon his YouTube. He'll abandon all this stuff. Thanks for the money, suckers. And he'll walk away. That's what he'll do. And he'll walk away. He doesn't care about you. Never did. If he cared, where's his policies? Where's his answers? How is he going to fix things? If he's so good, why isn't he winning? If Hochul and Mamdani are so angry and so bad, why are they Why are they still winning? Again, going up. More than half of voters say cost of living top issue, and they still vote for her. Why? Because Hochul's team has been smart. If anyone's paying attention, Hochul's team is doing stuff and coming up with plans. She's stopping whatever. She's ordering lower insurance or whatever dumb thing she's doing. I mean, none of it's going to work, but it doesn't matter. Again, I keep saying this to people. It doesn't matter. Blakeman says nothing. Yeah, Hochul's bad, and I'm going to stop it with my iron fist. Hochul gets in front of 17 people, in front of a bunch of other people on cameras every week, several times a week, saying things like, here's how I'm going to lower this. I accept this is a problem. This is a problem. Let me fix it. Now, again, her ideas are garbage. I'm not trying to defend her ideas. I'm defending her communication. It is 30 times better than Blakeman's. Her communication is, I care, I'm trying to fix things. That's her communication. And that's what New Yorkers hear. That's what Mamdani says. I care, I'm trying to fix things. And that's what New Yorkers hear. Blakeman goes, they're all bad, it's all scam, so terrible, bad, communist, man. I don't care. Again, I keep saying this. In New York, the wealth gap is growing. People are in trouble. It's not working. Here, I'll grab some more of these. Pluralities of all three are saying they want utility rebate check, which is what she's doing. Allowing New York to sue government officials who violate the college and insurance. Okay. They also want to ensure every child in New York has a right to public education, regardless of immigration status. Even Republicans. And he's about to throw everybody out. New Yorkers don't want that. A lot of you people who are New Yorkers get mad. New York should get blah, 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 blah. New Yorkers want it. You can be mad at me all day. They want it. That's how my plan fixes things to control it. I know my state. Voters give positive job approval for Trump on securing the Mexican border. True. Done. 100% true. No one doubts that. Trump owns that shit. He won that shit. Well done. Everyone believes it, knows it. I don't hear it at all. I don't hear Blakeman talk about it. No. Everything else talks about. That's your win. Everyone agrees. Doesn't matter. Even Democrats agree. Like everyone goes, yeah, you did it. You're right. It worked. Biden was horrible and you fixed that. Even Democrats, they go, I hate Trump, but he was right. They all say it. He won't. I don't hear that at all. I don't hear that. But there it is, right there. And -4, ending wars, making price more affordable, make Americans proud to be Americans. Negative on those three. And Blakeman's humping his leg. What are you doing? And Blakeman's humping his leg. Now, if you walk down these roads, I'll show you a little bit here. Allowing New Yorkers to sue federal state government, all approved, great. Ensure that every child in New York has a right to public education, regardless of immigration status. Overall, 70 to 20, basically, about 10% undecided. Democrats, huge. Republicans, 42 to 41, even for Republicans. Republicans in the state are even on that one. Why are you pushing this thing? Why are you pushing it? Republicans are even on it. Like, So Republicans don't care. You know what Republicans care about? Their energy bill. They care about their energy bill. They can't pay their energy bill. They care about their kids who can't read. They don't care about this hoity-toity horse shit. They don't care. It's clear. Independence, 65%. It's crazy. Here, increasing property tax for people outside of New York but own a second home. This is Mamdani's thing. Overall, love it. Democrats, of course. But even Republicans are okay with it. Independents like it more. Republicans are okay with it. I told you this. People are saying this. Oh, it's going to crush them. I said, no, it's not. People like that shit. There it is. New Yorkers like that. They don't care. You don't live in New York. I told you it was going to work. You guys all thought it wasn't. I know my state. I know my people. I told you that'd be fine. And it's totally fine. And totally fine. Here, budgeting $1 billion for a rebate check. That's literally Kathy Hochul's idea. 54% of Republicans want it. 54% of Republicans want Kathy Hochul's idea. In my state, let me be very clear. In my state. I know my state. What Blakeman is doing might work in, I don't know, Missouri. That shit does not work here. And here's Trump. I told you, Democrats in my state hate Trump. Republicans still like Trump in my state. Independents do not like Trump in my state. That's how it works. Overall job rating, approval, 34%. Why would you hump his leg if you're running for president? I'm sorry, running for governor in my state with a 34% approval rating for Trump here. Among Republicans, it's still about 80%. Again, Republicans still like Trump here. But Republicans are 23% of my population. What are you doing? Again, screwing America's border, Mexico. Home run. Even Democrats are like, it's okay, it's fine. They begrudgingly are okay with it. Ending wars, totally underwater. Making prices more affordable, totally underwater. They blame Trump for this, not Democrats. Why? Trump's horrible communication, which I've been bitching about for 2 years. Well, exaggerated, a year. I've been complaining for a year about it. And there it is right there. And this was as of yesterday. As of yesterday. That's what I wanted to bring up. I had to complain a bit today. I'm sorry. I did some stuff I wanted to bring up. I hope it doesn't drive you too crazy. Guys, thanks for putting up with that. I will go through some other stuff here if I can. Let me grab through some other stuff here if I could. Where am I? I do want to come up with that one. All right. Okay. So let me grab some of these comments and we'll start walking down some of these roads. All right. Let's see here. Rewind. Did he just say accountability to? Yes, he was, and he was laughing at it, Roger. Accountability to people? You don't want that. You don't want that. No, accountability to donors. That's what he cares about. You don't matter, Roger. When you start writing $3,300 checks to all the people he wants you to write to, when you start putting $500,000 into a PAC, when he tells you what PAC to put in, when you put $250,000, then he will care about your accountability to you. So when you start writing $250,000 checks to the PACs he tells you to, and $3,300 checks to all the candidates he tells you to, when you start doing that, then you count. Until then, you don't count. One day, Rod, maybe you start writing them big checks. You write them big checks, he will love you. He'll be like, what does Roger think? That's what he'll be like. And he won't care if it makes sense or not. He won't care. Luckily, you make some sense, so that'd be nice. But he don't care if it does. That's just when I tell Roger to put $250,000 in so-and-so PAC, he does. When I say Roger to write 10 checks to these 10 guys for $3,300 each, he does. I'll do what he says. That's how that works. All right, let me grab some more of these if I could. Vivek says, do you think crony capitalism is a bigger threat to liberty right now than government welfare programs, and how to dismantle? That's a big question. Crony capitalism is the biggest threat to the country in general. It's the biggest threat. Welfare programs are bad, but the problem is, how do you dismantle them if the wealth gap keeps growing? You can't, right? Unless you do what I talk about, which is building out your local communities. Community is the answer. Ownership mindset is the answer. Entrepreneurship is the answer. Smaller business and companies is the answer. Creating more Davids to knock down Goliaths is the answer. Sadly, Vivek, that's not 1 year. That's a 10 or 20-year program. But as you start doing that, people won't need it. Crony capitalism will eventually fail. You have to revamp the entire system. The party system, as we know it, must be dismantled. If we don't do it the way I'm trying to this year, right now, there will be violence. There is no way around it. The wealth gap is telling everybody there will be violence. It is every time. It is a 100% rule. It's not an 80% or usual. It is 100%. When the wealth gap gets too big, there is violence in every single chance, every single time. There is no exception. So if we don't fix this, there will be violence. I'm trying to not have violence. And people go, does it matter, wealth gap? You're fooling yourself. There will be violence if we don't fix this. Lunatics, society's cooked. Goodbye water. We've already seen everything else go down the crapper. I'm trying to make you wrong, lunatic. I'm trying. Yes. Mike brought up, yeah, Mike let me know. Polo's out. I'm right again. Blakeman down 20 points. 54% across New York. Still don't know who Blakeman is. Yeah. But again, at the end, you may be right. I've always predicted 15. Mike said 20 months ago. Mike saw this months ago at 20. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's looking like Mike's right on this one. We'll see. I mean, we still got 5 months, Mike. You never know. Maybe Blakeman has something up his sleeve. Can't believe he said that. Maybe, though. Maybe. So, yes. DS, how you scoring the political DNA test? There we go. All right. I appreciate that. All right. So I can go here right now. Rick says, if you want to serve in a social utopia, you will likely serve Soylent Green, which comes from enemies of the state, made useful and yummy. It's got what the body needs. Some people, you will get that. Some people will get that. Mike's a national conservative. That fits. That fits you, Mike. That fits. That does fit for sure. All right. Let me keep walking down this road if I can. You guys had a bunch of these. I hit everything. Says, Larry, thoughts on Mamdani getting 2-year rent freeze? I was hoping for a rent freeze and raising property taxes law. It's a win for him again. Look, here's the thing to remember. Whenever he puts in these types of policies, you don't see the backlash for years, right? It takes time for the market to respond. It takes people to respond. You don't see it right away. So him getting that now is perfect timing for the election. Because again, what you hear him do, and I hate it, but I warned the Republicans in this city and they ignored me. And Mike knows I warned them and they ignored me. Mamdani is charismatic as hell. He's charismatic. He just is. You can be mad at him all you want. It's still true. And he is using this very well. He now uses, he had like a little commercial, like he's in the freezer putting a popsicle going, it's cold outside, it's warm outside, it's hot outside. You want to freeze? You know what I'm freezing? I'm freezing the rent. Blah, 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 blah. Amazing. Smart move. Smart move. He's doing it right. He's doing it right. And so he's going to do promises, promises kept, promises made, promises kept. It just works well for him. And we won't feel any of it for at least a year or two. So yes, absolutely. All right. Shelley says his victories are the entire state's loss. Yes, but we won't feel it now. That's the point. Everything says libertarianism is not infiltrating the Republican Party. We tried. Trump, they learned from Trump in that regard. They ain't letting that shit happen again. Whenever Trump goes away, neocons going to lock down this party. They're doing it already. Neocons going to lock down the Republican Party. They're doing it already. They're doing it already. They're not letting it happen. They're locking that down. So yes. All righty. Mike says New York voting is down. Only 16% showed to vote. Apathy is massive. I'm with you, Mike. It's terrible. It is terrible. People are giving up, and it makes me feel so bad, right? Because I'm trying my damnedest, and it just makes me feel so bad. I agree with you. Phil over on Rumble, $1. I was asking you if you preferred Gary Johnson or Mike. Oh, or Benjamin. Okay, I guess. All right, I didn't get your jokes, Phil. I'm sorry, I didn't get your jokes. I apologize. You know, Gary Johnson's the guy I love. I love Gary Johnson. I will always love Gary Johnson. He's the man who I credit with getting into the Libertarian Party in the first place when I heard him speak in 2012. Yes, I've been a Libertarian now 14 years, and Gary Johnson got me in. So yes, always. Phil goes on to ask, Larry, AMA, Larry, in a theoretical full communist New York City, what black market business are you starting? Full communist. Well, if we go full communist, I assume you mean when you say communist that you don't mean communist in that there is no government and everything is democratically elected at every single level. I assume you mean communist like Soviet Union, which is what Mamdani is doing. Mamdani is not doing ownership. Mamdani is doing Soviet style. So I'm going to assume you mean Soviet style. If it was Soviet style, what would be missing the most? My assumption would be labor. Yeah, because the entrepreneurial spirit would be dead within the city. So you'd have to hire people that the government tells you to hire. You'd have to hire and pay when the government tells you to. So I think in giving black market labor, similar to what they do right now, upstate New York for, well, downstate too, but upstate for farmers, or downstate here for restaurateurs. I think I do a black market in labor. So hope that answers your question. Rick Plus says, we tried infiltrating the GOP in 2010. It was a Tea Party movement, and in 2 years, it returned to moral majority wearing tricone hat. Yes, didn't work. I agree. Yeah, it didn't work. I agree. So, all righty. Mike says, so did anyone else get national conservative in the political DNA test? Or I am once again one of the few and the proud. It may be. We'll find out. D says, my hubby got moderate conservative. There we go. Mike says, Carver's a nut job. More saying than Mamdani and AOC. Yes, but again, you can insult him all you want, Mike. Democrats pay attention to him. The insults don't change the fact. People pay, and he said, shut up, do nothing, and they did. He told them to do nothing. And if you remember, I don't know if you were paying attention to that. I know you don't like Democrats, you might have been paying attention. I was. After he said that, that's when all of a sudden in comes Chuck Schumer going, do nothing. Chuck Schumer listened to him and told him to do nothing. So call him names if you want to. Doesn't matter. He's effective, meaning moving people. He's effective. So Mike, how are you? Member for 5 months. Michael Long. Kathy Hochul got a nickname, the Vanilla Lady, because if you look at her skin color, it's vanilla. Huh. Well, she's got vanilla anyway, so yeah, it's true. I like that one. Thanks for membership. Andrew, thank you for the membership. Do you think there is a drawback to voter ID? You think they will make it require real ID, or maybe a way to monitor? There could be, and let me give you, there could be a drawback to voter ID. And the only way that could be is if they did not make it statewide and they made a mandatory federal ID that they would follow like a real ID. That would be, in theory, a drawback. That I know of, that's not in the SAFE Act. I don't think the SAVE Act, I don't think it is. If someone can help me out with that, I don't think that's in it. But people have absolutely pushed for that. Some type of national ID card that has the chip in it, that follows you around, right? The real ID that has all the stuff you do. They have pushed for it. That would be the drawback. If they just go, no, you got to be a citizen, you got to have voter ID, but states can do it, right? It's fine. I don't think there's any drawback to that. States can do as they see fit. It's fine. If they were, and again, that I know of, that's not in the SAVE Act, unless I missed it or someone didn't tell me or whatever. I don't think that's in the SAVE Act, but that would be a drawback. I would agree with you. If the federal government would go to, we want a federal ID that's all real ID, chip in it that follows you around, yes, that would be a problem. But I know of, that's not happening. But yes, people, Andrea, have asked about it and tried it, but yeah. Andrew, thank you for $100, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm busting my rump. I appreciate all the help, my friend. You are the man. You support us constantly. I remember that. I appreciate that. And I keep going. I'm trying my best. I hope it makes sense. I hope what I'm saying makes sense to you. I hope it does. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, my friend. All right. Let's see. Phil says Carver has swamp water in his veins. True. Yes. Phil says I got traditional libertarianism. I did too. Yep. All righty. I don't think I was talking to Mike. Sorry. Yeah, DSA is strong in New York City. It is. Brian says, happy Friday, Governor Sharpe. And all Sharpies watch tonight. Like, share, and subscribe and comment. Yes, he's right. Roger says, Hakeem is a robot pretending to be a human. True. Yes. Mike says, none of them are Democrats, just like Bernie, but Dems want the votes and money, and the DSA needs Dems for credibility and protection. My point exactly, Mike. Then let them have their own party. Here's the absolute BS. Is Carville says stupid shit like he says, have your own party. You won't let them have it. It's called the Green Party. You won't let them have it. And when they do have it, you get angry at them and go, why are you spoiling the votes and splitting the votes? Well, now you lost your party, Carville. You're not wrong, Mike, but they gave them a choice. They should allow them to have a socialist party, which was the Green Party. Let them have it. You get your socialist party. Done deal. They won't let them have it. There's your problem. Absolutely. All righty. Where am I here? Mike Hesbadney says, these established Democrats sound so much like establishment Republicans. Thank you. D says, who saw that Matt Kibbe podcast with Larry, or was on in person? Who saw that Mike Kibbe podcast that Larry was on him? Yes, I was on that. I went to DC a couple weeks ago. It came out recently. If you guys want to check it out, you can check it out at Free the People on YouTube and also on Twitter. And I spent about an hour or so with Matt Kibbe talking about all types of stuff. I thought it was a good interview. So I hope you enjoyed it. Brana saw it. Good. Brana, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes. All right. Super says exactly on the name calling versus an actual plan. Yes. Look, you can be mad at Mamdani all day. I'm obviously not a fan, but Mamdani always got to answer. You may not like that answer, but again, then it's your job. It's why I'm not afraid of these guys. If you've noticed, I'll give you this true story. Yesterday, one reason why we didn't have a show was I was at an event yesterday. So I'm at an event with some people in New York City. And one of the people there finds out I'm running for governor. Didn't know that I was running for governor. Oh, yeah. Then I heard of you afterwards, right after. Oh, yeah. Didn't you do something before, whatever? So we start talking. And these guys who I was talking to, Democrats, established Democrats. And one of them's a bit younger. The son was like, I don't know, 18, 19, younger guy, and he's obviously more left leaning. Clearly, obviously by how he talks, what he feels. He goes, "Okay, what do you think about the MTA?" And I gave my MTA plan, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's a good idea." Both parents, "Oh my God, it's a good idea." Maybe, Both of them said right there, got my vote. Both said that. Why? They don't know who the hell I am. They had heard of me because probably other people had talked about me at some place. So I had a lot of mutual friends there. But they did it for only one reason. I gave them an answer. The amount of people in 2022 and 2018 who came back to me later and said, "Larry, I voted for only one reason." I said, "What?" Two answers. The first one was, "Because you showed up." That was important. People like that. Went to the town and I showed up and I shook their hand. So that was reason one. Reason two was, because you answered my question. I heard that all the time. What? Yeah, you answered my question. I asked you a question. You answered it. I thought, oh, this guy's real. I'll vote for him. That was it. So my point to the Mike Johnsons and the Hakeem Jeffries, if you think the DSA sucks so bad, then why can't you have an answer when they ask? Because you don't have any answers. Just have an answer. You can be mad at Trump winning. 2024, he had answers. So did RFK Jr. They had, you might have had those answers. Maybe you didn't like the tariffs or the whatever. Fine, that was an answer. And people jumped on board. Trump got answers. Let's do it. Close the border. That was an answer. He had it. People jumped on board. What did Kamala have? Vibes. Harris had vibes. Trump had answers. Like him or not. Mamdani got answers. Like him or not. This is the same thing I've been saying for years. I don't fear Mamdani or any DSA person in any debate or in any case. Why? Because I have answers. Kathy Hochul is starting to come up with some. And I got to give her that. I mean, again, they're not going to work, obviously. They're all just whatever, write checks to people. But she's now realized not her. She hasn't figured this out. Her team has figured out, you better come up with some answers. Now she's all of a sudden, she's lowered car insurance. Okay, damn. What's Blakeman doing? Yeah, Mamdani. Well, Kathy Hochul lowered car insurance. Okay. Kathy Hochul put a moratorium on some of that stupid climate change stuff. That New York, for those who don't know, New York already has the lowest carbon footprint of every state in the union. Lowest already. We can stop now, guys. We can stop. You guys catch up. We can stop now. She's like, I'm going to stop a little bit. Now, is that the right answer? No, she's still putting a solar power plants, solar panel crap all over the place. But again, she gave an answer. What's Blakeman's answer? There's none. I say it all the time. Stop calling people's names. Come up with a plan. You will see people follow you. He says, AMA, what does I think about Florida, where they're all trying to install Byron Donalds? They don't even want to have a debate with the 3 GOP. DeSantis is pushing back on it. Yes, again, the Republicans of 26 have become the Democrats of 16. Or worse, in one case, 24. In this case, no primary, no debates, no nothing, right? They're trying to become that. Establishment always falls back to force, D. Establishment always falls back to force. So, yeah. Mike says, no, Carville's right. DSA are not Dems, but they're taking control of the Democratic Party because the price of trying to win at all costs. Dems fully did this to themselves in pursuit of votes. Not in pursuit of votes, in pursuit of power. So there's a little bit of a nuance. So you're right, but I would go further. Power. That's the issue. But yeah, this is Democrats that complete themselves. Totally true. Did themselves. But Carville's wrong in that he doesn't have an answer. His answer is, you guys are dumb. That ain't going to work, Mike. That ain't going to work. So yeah, if the Democrats want to fix this, they have to have an answer. They don't have one. And it says, rebels win because they speak solutions while the establishment ignores voters. When do they finally start listening to people that are living with the consequence they cause? Only when they are thrown out of office. They only respect force and coercion because that's what they do. That's all they respect, coercion and force. I would say leverage. Leverage. Absolutely. D says Republicans love Steve Miller. They do. And that's my point. That what he was talking about, that wasn't that was absolutely not for anyone except donors. Yes. Ron says, reason is not one tool of thought among many. It's an entire toolbox. To advocate that reason be discarded in some circumstances is to advocate that thinking be discarded, which leaves one. Where's the rest? Is that it? Did I miss it, Bronner? If you put more, I didn't get it. I think there was more to that one. I think I missed it. So, sorry. Lunatic says, wrong definition of anarchy, Larry. 100%. You're totally right. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But that's what he, again, remember, most Americans, 99%, when they hear anarchy, they think chaos. Now, you and I know that's not, they're not synonyms. But to most Americans, they are. And that is why I really use that word, because people hear it and just assume it's chaos. Now, Bronna gets mad at me and goes, we're going to use the right word. Bronna, keep using the right word. I'm not. Because I know what the connotation is. You saw it right there. So, yes. Right, let me grab some more of this if I can. Daniel says, the Republicans only bitch after the commies win, but nothing before. And when it comes to Miller, his complaints have been the same, Daniel, the entire time. What he said yesterday, he said 4 years ago. He's always like, the evil, blah, blah, blah. Always. Yeah, the Republicans got mad because the establishment's losing. Republicans weren't so mad when regular establishment Democrats, when corporate Democrats are winning, Republicans like, we got to fix it, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the non-establishment ones are winning? Can't have that. That we can't have. Absolutely. Mike has bad news says, our system's built to fight wars, not win them. True. Missy says, I was so sick in the sea, we hit Iran again. Iran hit us too. This war needs to be over. Ain't over yet. John says, raise money. You mean like FIFA deciding that players need hydration breaks? Hydration breaks and making some more commercials. True. Yes. Mike says, Miller is correct. Left is eternally upset and dysfunctional, which makes them uncontrollable. Hold on. Miller is correct. The left is eternally upset and dysfunctional, which makes them controllable. I don't know what that means. Miller's not correct. He just yells at them and insults them all day long. Who cares? And I don't care if he's correct. He's not, but I don't care if he's correct. It doesn't matter. He has no answer. Same thing. Miller has no answer. He's an attack dog. And they're not. If they were controllable, then he wouldn't be mad, or others wouldn't be mad. They're not controllable. If you think that the left is controllable, you as delusional as Johnson. You know who else thought was controllable? The mustache man, the Austrian that came to Germany. We got him. He's controllable. How controllable is he? He's not controllable. You know who else thought was controllable? The Georgian that came to take over the Soviet Union, take over Russia. His name was Stalin. They thought he was controllable too, until he started shooting them all. Oh yeah, you keep thinking they're controllable, Mike. You're not going to be saying, hi, comrade, in the morning. You keep saying that. There's no way that's true. That is fantasy. There's no way that's true. I'm grabbing some more of these. Andrea says, Stephen Miller is a terrible mouthpiece for the Republican establishment. If you're not talking to donors eat this up. Look, Republican donors eat what Hakeem Jeffries says. Democratic donors like the establishment. Republican donors like the establishment. They just do. They all like the establishment. So, yeah. Your mayor says, hold on. Larry Sharpe for governor. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Mike says, Trump approval rating is 40%. Not that bad. And some of the same 2018. This isn't unexpected. 40%? What poll are you looking at? What poll are you looking at? From 2024? Please post that poll somewhere. And please don't tell me it's Trafalgar. Please show an average, if you would, please. I'd like to see that. A recent average. He ain't at 40%. That's not true. Please show me that if you got that, Mike. I don't see that at all. I hate everything. Says the city controller even said Mamdani solutions to the deficit will cause massive financial problems in the future. especially with delaying pay. Yes, again, his policies aren't good. I'm saying they exist. That's what I'm saying. Relative to the Republicans in my state, which have no plan. I have a plan. No one wants to hear my plan, sadly. I have plans that don't destroy our pensions, that don't cause massive financial problems. Republicans in my state have no plan. Democrats have this. People take this. Roger says, with millennials going progressive left and Gen Z further left and want to dump capitalism and replace it with socialism, I understand this is an indictment on capitalism's failure to deliver everyone out of poverty. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Our system has failed us, but not everywhere in capitalism, right? If you look in certain parts of capitalism, it has done a pretty good job. Norway's an example. Singapore is an example. Probably Denmark's an example. Now, people call them socialists. That's not true because they're built off of sovereign funds, which is the ultimate capitalism. Sovereign funds are the ultimate. It's literally investment capital. So capitalism can work if you use capitalism the right way with the right, I guess, culture. It can work. Ours has devolved into two-party system crony capitalism. But I think capitalism can work. I think it has. I would argue that it's even worked in China, beginning to work in North Korea. All these socialist type countries have started to become more capitalistic, and it's raised their people out of poverty. So it is working. It's working, I think, in those countries. So, all right. Let's see. Missy says, AMA, Larry, do you think socialists are gaining real ground politically? 100% yes. 100% yes. Absolutely. 100% yes. They're absolutely gaining ground. They are. We have to figure this out somehow. Look, the reality of it is socialism sounds great to a lot of youngsters. Why? Because to Roger's point, capitalism in America has failed our youth. The wealth gap is proof of this. It has. You can be mad at, well, capitalism's great and give me this is the problem with so many people, particularly older people. The second that I say I have a problem and go for socialism, they don't give me a capitalist answer. They don't give me a free market answer. They give me an economics lesson or a history lesson. No one gives a shit about your history or economics lesson when I can't pay my rent. Take that lesson and shove it up your ass. Nobody cares. Stop it. But we can't teach you. No one gives a shit if I can't pay my car insurance. Nobody cares. This is that I keep saying, and people will not stop. Well, you know it's failed everywhere. Nobody cares. I'm unhappy. My life sucks. Why do I care about your history lesson or your economics lesson? I don't give a shit. Give me an answer. I give you an answer. Oh, man, that would work. I like that. That would work. Yes. Then listen to me. But no one wants to watch my shit because the YouTube and the social media goes, oh, don't show Larry Sharpe, even though he's always right, knows every answer and is always correct every single time. Every time. They don't do it. They go, let's show Hakeem Jeffries say nothing. Let's show Mike Johnson say nothing. This goes back to my point earlier, weeks ago, when I was talking with Larkin Rose, who was saying what I'm doing is crazy. No, once I get the votes, people will listen to me. Why? Because that's what validates me. I wish it didn't. I wish it was because I'm so smart or so damn good looking. I wish it was because of that. It's not. It's because who gets the most votes becomes valid in the eyes of most Americans. So socialism, to answer your long-winded question, Missy, socialism is now getting the votes, which makes it valid in the eyes of Americans. And you might go, that's dumb. Doesn't matter. It's true. And I'm trying my best to give you guys truth. I'm trying my best to show you what's actually happening, what actually works. Getting the votes makes you valid in America. You may not like that. It's still true. Your economics lesson, history lesson, no one gives a shit about when they're suffering. You may not like that. It's still true. So a long way of answering a question, but I did at least. So, oh, I'm gonna grab some more of these if I can. D says, establishment loves other establishment. You are absolutely not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. All right. I think we went down that road. Grace says, you are right about Reagan and the last Reagan Democrats are dying. Yes. Yes. Reagan was able to get Democrats to cross over. Clinton was able to get Republicans to cross over. The last person to really cross over, Trump 2016, heavily crossover then. And then Trump 2024 with his coalition. The coalition made it happen. Since then, crossover has been very challenging. Since then, very challenging. So, yeah. All righty. Let's see here. John said, it's hard to convince the young when the public school system starts indoctrinating our children to the glories of social system starting in pre-K. You're not wrong. You're right. The problem is the problem is our education system is heavily feminized, and being more and more feminized. And also, and because of that, more women in America are left by far than men. So the entire system is left-leaning. 100% true. It's 100% true. Yes. Ryan says, Reagan was a smart Republican when it came to the Middle East, unlike today. Sadly, that is true. Yes. All righty. JJ says, to be honest, the saying goes, know your enemy. I know my enemy better than most. There are very few people who know both sides as well as I do. That's why my predictions are so on point. Andrea says, they just keep pointing fingers and not change their policies. They turned on the promises made while campaigning in 2024. Yes. Kay says, trans girls got to make coin. No shame. Yeah, look, I don't care. Look, this is a perfect point, Cage. All right. I'm working 2 jobs, trying to move out of my house, out of my parents' house. I'm 30. I got $100,000 in debt. I'm trying to woo this girl I like. I can't seem to woo her because she wants X. I only have Y. She's got her own problems she's dealing with now. She's also in her late 20s or early 30s, having the same problems I'm having to work 2 jobs. We're all having this problem. We can't get along. My car is an old car. I want a new car. I want to take my girl on vacation. I can't afford it. I don't have time. Can't think of time off from work. And I'm scared I'm going to get laid off because of AI. And you think I give a shit if trans girls are prostitutes or not? I don't care. It means nothing to me. You know what it means? You know who's mad about that? Boomers who are working on their 3rd house in Florida. That boomer's mad. That you trans stuff, whatever. That person's mad because they're in their 3rd house in Florida. And the 3rd house might have a mortgage, maybe, but the other 2 don't. One's being rented, so pays that mortgage. And they're retired, and they go on vacation whenever they want. And they're good. And they got investments, and they got assets. The stock market's booming. They're happy. They're mad at the trans girls doing whatever they're doing. Yeah, that's why it drives me crazy. Yes. Grace says, Reagan was a masterclass in destroying an ideology, communism, without invading communism's motherland, which was USSR. Reagan hated communism, and he was the one who tore down the wall. You are not wrong. That is true. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. JJ says, unfortunately, the boomer establishment wing, the prime example, will have no will or spine to face reality. Why would they? They're living fine. That's my point. Yes, that's my point. I completely agree. All righty. Republicans should stop whipping out their Johnson. True. Ryan says, Chevalier is scary AF and has insane views. He should be dismissed. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Everyone knew what she was. This came out early. They attacked her early on. All this came out, and she still won. So I'll ask you, establishment Democrats, what was your answer for that? Nothing. Not a thing. You are correct, Ryan. And she's probably going to be the next a congressman. Yeah. You thought people like Omar were bad? You thought Ilhan Omar was bad? Wait till Chevalier shows up. You're going to wish everybody was Omar. You're going to wish. Damn, wish he was just Omar. You are totally correct. And she is fearless. She's fearless. This is why what people want is strength. And she's fearless. It's stupid, or I shouldn't say stupid. Ignorant Johnson says, just saying the quiet part out loud. This ain't the quiet part. This is the loud part. Like, that's not the quiet part. The quiet part is she probably wants to kill you. That's the quiet part. She don't say that out loud because she probably doesn't want to kill you. But that's the quiet part. The loud part, what she's saying is the loud part. She wants you to say that. She hopes you'll scream it. She wants you to say it again and again and again. That's how ignorant he is. So, yes. Speaking of what I want you to do, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Click that like button. Why haven't you done so? Also, share and repost if you can. I appreciate it. You can also support the show in many ways. You can do a super chat, which I love when you guys do super chats, of course. You can also, if you want to, head over to my Linktree. Linktree/The_Sharpe_Way. Many ways to support the show. If you want to become a member, that's always good. Membership show will be July 18th, by the way. That will be the show, July 18th in Saturday. I'll be putting stuff out in the members only spot to see who wants to come aboard. So there'll be a panel show up front. And then after that, behind the scenes, all the cool stuff after dark. We'll figure it out. Anyway, it'll be something good anyway. So do that. Patreon, if you care about Patreon, buy me a coffee, whatever you want. Support the show that way. I appreciate it. Super chat's always good. Any way you want to, please feel free to support the show. Guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate that a lot. All right, let me grab some more of these if I can. You guys give some more. I'm falling behind. I know. All righty. Gracie goes on to say, Johnson has not listed one policy. Yes. And the GOP is going after people like Massey who have policies. Yes. You hate what Massey's doing? Okay. What's your answer? None. None. Absolutely. Yes. All righty. Yeah, grab that. Grab that one already. Bronna says, laugh my ass if it's not a capitalist country, it's a fascist company. Yeah, but they can be the same. And this is what I've been talking about. They can be the same, Bronna. You can be both. You can be both. There's lots of forms of capitalism, lots of forms of socialism, lots of forms. You can be both. So absolutely. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. You guys going back and forth a lot. I appreciate that. Missy says, political DNA said, I'm a compassionate libertarian. That fits. Yes. Yes. Kate says to Rick, fuggers are completely out of touch with the real hard issues of the great unwashed poor. True. I agree. Yes. We grabbed that one. You guys going back and forth on fast and Muslim. Okay, I like it. Yep. Gracie says, freedom, tell Trump to get back to deregulating and ending the Department of Education. Yes. Stop pouring money into useless universities. Yes. Stop crushing my family's business. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely. I say yes to all those. Not fighting there at all. All righty. All of that. D says, Chris, you're not wrong. Yes. I hate everything says, Larry, how do you think libertarians can out-organize the left? We can't. We have to get them to help us. We can't. Remember, libertarians, to organize libertarians have to join a party. They don't do a very good job outside of that. Unless it's for one issue, right? Libertarians can do very thing for one issue. They can do it like the single issue thing, like I want to end this tax. They can do that very well. But to organize like they do to create a structure, libertarians are far more concerned about virtue signaling than anything else. And that will destroy everything. And it happens every time. Not just that, they're very easily distracted and broken. And I'll give you the example for those of you who might have seen RFK Jr. I assume it's true. If I'm proven wrong, tell me. Called a bunch of Iowa libertarians and tried to tell them to stop running for office so Republicans can win. Now, am I happy about that? Not at all. The Libertarian Party literally shared the recorded call. And Michael, well, Larry, it's good. You've shown these guys, blah, blah. That was a fucking terrible idea. It was. Why was it terrible? The party just said that you can't have phone calls with it. That it will just, that you don't know you're being recorded, that it will just share calls with people that you don't know you're being recorded. Now, Michael, but it's good to show. Yeah, not the party shouldn't do that. There are so many behind the scenes things that are done. I have had many interactions with Republicans who I despise, and I have never recorded or shared any recordings ever. And I won't. And people value, you should just tell people, who is that? Show that. No, that's not how you do it in this world. I can talk about it if I want to. I can say this if I want to, but you don't record somebody who doesn't have been recorded and then share it as a political party. The press does that, and the press should do that. So you either leak that to the press, that's you could do that, or have the press there, you could do that too, but you don't as a political party do that. Who's going to trust the Libertarian Party now? Nobody. Insanely stupid. But we don't know any better because I tell you, virtue signaling is what matters in my party. I say it all the time. That's what matters more than anything else. They destroyed the future of working with anybody because of doing that. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have told people. I'm not saying you shouldn't have said, and they did. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying you couldn't leak it to the press, maybe. Fine. But that's what realistic parties would do. They would leak it to the press. Yeah. So how we out-organize? We can't. It's not a thing. We'd have to help others do it. Now, could you do it at a local level? Yes. And it would really take a force of will. It would take something like a Gary Johnson or me in 2018. 2018, I was kind of that way in 2018. Or Gary Johnson in 2016. So that kind of personality, you could do it. Otherwise, you couldn't. So yes. All righty. Andrew says, I strongly doubt a lot of Americans are enthusiastic about America 250, given the trajectory of the country right now. You're right. A lot aren't. A lot aren't. Bruce says the H-man, different name. Yeah, because if I say too many things, sadly, I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, and YouTube will just knock you out and trash you for nothing. You got to have baby talk because YouTube treats us like we're children. I hate doing it, but I want to stay on YouTube, so I got to do what they say. I'm kind of yeah. Bruce says, wasn't hope part of one of President Obama's campaign? Yes, hope matters. It does. Hope matters. Dina says, how do you feel about the Europeans visiting America? Great. Spending money. Absolutely. Brian says, I can't believe it's been 50 years since the bicentennial. I was on a national mall watching the Beach Boys live. Wondering to myself if they'd ever become beach men. Oh, that's cute. So I think a lot of people are unhappy about 250. I think a lot are. I agree. A lot of people think the empire is collapsing. I think a lot of people think that things aren't good. I think a lot of people think that we failed. A lot of people think that. I don't think any of that's actually true yet. I mean, I could see it, but I think we still have a chance to fix this. I think it's still repairable, is what I'm saying. It is looking bad. That's true, but I think it's repairable. Mike says, I'm looking forward to big America 250. I like we'll get arrested at the ball drop in Manhattan. I dare Madame to arrest me. I'm going to make you a libertarian after all, Mike. See, getting arrested, street cred. I'm going to make you a libertarian after all. It may take me a couple years, but I'm going to get you there. So yes. All right. Let's see if I can grab this. Phil says the wealth gap has been getting bigger since 71. What happened then? Oh, yeah. What happened then? Has nothing to do with the dollar. Stop. But yeah, you're totally correct. All right. I think I've grabbed all of that already. Sue Weapon says we need to sit down Republicans and make them watch More Deadly Than War by Edward Griffin so they can understand how and why the DSA is winning. Ooh, I like that. That's a good idea. Yes. All right. I hear he says, Larry, don't you get if democratic in front of socialism is not so? You're right. That's right. So it's not socialism. It's democratic socialism. Way better. Way better. Except when you see the policies, they're Soviet. So look, if he actually had non-Soviet policies, I have some policies that will be considered socialist, meaning that a lot of my policies help out people to become co-op ownership in nuclear power plants, not public ownership, individual ownership, individual citizens having the ownership of the means of production, which is socialist, but it's voluntary. It's voluntary. His aren't. His are Soviet. There's a difference. So yes, he says he only has accountability to his donors. That's it. D says, because Johnson doesn't want to actually fix anything. True. All true. I agree completely. Yes, I agree completely. All right. Let's see. D, oh, I love it. Danny's in the house. I made it. Hey, everyone. Mike's saying Mike is right. I don't know. I'll let you know. We're almost there. It does look bad. I'm just saying it. You're not wrong. It does. You might be right. So we'll see. I think says Republicans in New York look at this and say to themselves, well, this is fine. They do. They absolutely do. Mike says Blakeman is still unknown to 54% of the state, which is insanity. Blakeman known by 8% more than last time. And at this rate, by November, he'll still have almost 25%. State with no idea who he is. Look, Blake was known by 54%. In the last poll I was in, I was known by 64%. Yes. So I'm only 10% more unknown than him. And I'm some guy. He's a Republican nominee. That's true. I'm not making that up. That's absolutely true. Check the last poll. Grace says, all conservative talk radio is doing is just telling New Yorkers to head to Florida and Texas. Yes. Home of the new Wall Street. You got Larry, New York conservatives. That's it. You're right. And this goes to Mike's point. People have given up, but it doesn't mean they've given up on life. They've given up on New York. They're going to pack and go. I said this and I hate it, but it's still true. New York used to be a place you'd go to become somebody. Now you leave New York to become somebody. It's sad. I don't want that to be true at all. Andrea, thank you for the $5. Did you hear Joel Salatin was invited to the White House, but was turned away in the last time? Oh, is that right? Damn. Well, didn't he he went to the Libertarian Convention, didn't he? Maybe that's why, Andrea. He's a traitor. Joe's trying to save the world. He is. Via farming. I love it. Well, look, we keep talking about elections. I get it, right? Because Blakeman says Blakeman's website's anemic. True. Yes, absolutely. Look, the election is going to be a damn joke. Mike goes on, there's been no change to Blakeman's website. It never had a single policy. Tells you it's not, no change to win. Yes. Andrew says impotent rage is the best nickname for Blakeman. True. Absolutely. K. John says Hoke was trying to fix things screwed up for years by her. Yes, and that's the funny part. You hit it perfectly, K. John. It's her fault. She's been part of this whole thing. In fact, most people don't know this. She was part of local government before, locally in Hamburg, which is in Erie County outside of Buffalo. She was part of local government. She was also a congressperson for a while. Yes, and she was lieutenant governor before she was governor. She's been part of the entire system. This is all her fault. So you're right. Blakeman should be easily to get rid of her. Easily. Should be. He won't. He's that incompetent. He's that bad of a candidate that she can literally, you're exactly right, go, oh, all these things I screwed up, I'm going to try to fix them now. And that's better than him. It's not that Hochul's great. He's so bad. She's mediocre. But compared to how bad he is, that makes her great. Like, here's kind of an answer. He's like, and Mamdani's bad. And she's better than him. You are correct. Yes. Look, when it comes to this question, the question I'm going to ask you is, do you believe in the integrity of the elections now? And whatever your answer is, there's a way of showing it. Head over to the advocates, if you will, the advocates for self-government. There is a link in the description here. Heading over there. And when you head on over there, click on over to the area, not the area that is the normal one I ask, which is, I always ask you to do the world's most political quiz. Head over to single issue surveys. Click on that and head on down. And what will you see? As you go down, so many, federal, oh my God, look at all this stuff. Head down to election integrity survey. Take that survey. Take that survey, answer the questions. What is closest to what you feel? Once you are done with that survey, do the one thing I always ask you, share it. Because if you share it, people say, wait a minute, what do I think about this? What do I think about that? There'll be back and forth conversation, back and forth will make people want to talk. Maybe they'll come back to the Advocates for Self-Government website. And when they come back, they'll see all the other cool things there. Because the most important piece I keep talking about, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to fix this? How can we fix this? You can fix this. I can fix this by building communities, but not just any community. Community that is not based upon coercion or violence, but instead is based upon the most important thing, respect. Respect is the key. If we can build our relationships off of respect, you can have better relationships, whether they're large or small, whatever state we're in. Let's head over to the advocates for self-government who talk about that. It is about respect. They are a sponsor of the show. Thank you, guys. So yes, that is important. I hope you guys get that part. I hope it makes sense. So anyway, let me keep going here. I inspired to be like Blakeman, get a bunch of money to lose. You know, people were talking about that yesterday at that event. They were like, Larry, I don't understand. Why do you keep doing this? Don't they want you to do? I go, yeah. I go, every year they try to bribe me. Every year, right? They offer me lieutenant governor, whatever. I never take it. And like, what do you mean? I said, well, for those guys who know how this works, you are allowed legally to pay from campaign funds the candidate the salary of the office he's seeking. That's legal. Now, I don't take any of that because the campaign compared to him is fucking broke. So there's no way I could spend as much money as he has. But he's got millions of dollars in his campaign. So he can pay himself and his lieutenant governor the salary. That's legal. Even though they're already working. That's legal. So they often offer this. I mean, a salary of, I think it's $240,000 or something like that. So if Blakeman goes, hey, Larry, will you just drop out and become lieutenant governor? And I go, what are you going to do? I'll give you a salary of lieutenant governor. So he'll basically pay me $250,000 to just not run. Legal. That's legal. That's not illegal. It's legal. Yeah. Well, I'm a consultant. Yeah, I give you another 10 grand for being a consultant. So that's what? 250 plus 10,000 for 12 to another, what? So he can give me $360,000 to not run. That's legal. That's how bribery works. And like a fool, I never take it. When people ask me why I do this, I say because I'm stupid and stubborn. That's the stupid part. The stubborn part's the other part. But yes. So yeah, you could do it. Get a bunch of money. You get tons of cash and you lose. Well, look, if I'm going to write you a check for 300 grand, all you got to do is lose. Most people go, really? Yeah, just lose. 300 grand. Most people go, okay. Most do. That's how people sell out. People don't sell out for nothing. They sell out because it's lucrative. That's why they sell out. It's called selling out for a reason. You sell yourself. You get cash. That's how it goes. So yes. Mike says, Larry, Dems will write checks and allocate the money, just like Obama stimulus. Yes, of course I will cash that check. Yes. Even as I both. Yes, take the money, Mike. I'm taking it too. When Hochul writes me my whatever check, my please vote for me check, I'm not going to vote for it. But I'll take the money and I will cash it. 100%. I'm with you. Look, if they're throwing money out, I know some libertarians are all like, you can't take that money, and or they'll say dumb stuff like, are you going to not take a salary? You going to pay my bills, idiot? No, then shut up. If there was any way that if I didn't take the money would go back to the people or something, or wouldn't go to something stupid or something, right? It's not true, but if that were true, I might consider it. But if Mike, if you and I take the money, some other guy's going to take it. It's still getting spent and blown on something. The system's so broken. Any dollars you want to give me, I'll take. I'll take it all and spend it. I'm with you, Mike. Let's spend it. I agree. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Phil over on Rumble says, I've heard lawyers see someone lose $1 million case and say, I could have lost that case for half as much. Yes. Lie would win with half the money Blakeman raises. True. You're not wrong, Phil. That's true. Yes. I would win for half what he would. Yeah. I would win for half as much as he does for losing. Yes. Absolutely true. All right. Let's see here. All right. Roger's mad. He's got the caps on. And what drives all of y'all on the right crazy is Trump like Mamdani and knows how to play politics by appealing to Trump's ego. You're not wrong. Trump and Mamdani have a lot of commonalities. They're both very good salesmen. I agree. You're not wrong. They're both good salesmen. Team says bottom up tax cuts for poor, working and middle class, and top down spending cuts for the government, corporate politicians, and wealthy would do more for reducing wealth inequality. You're not wrong. I agree. I totally agree. That will be a plan. If you gave that plan, come and go, oh, maybe they wouldn't be grabbing the DSA because Cottingham got a plan. I'm okay with that. Let's give him a plan. I'm in. I love the idea. Let's keep going. Ownership mindset's everything. It is the way we will save this nation. If we can't get ownership mindset into the people of this nation, we will fail. We will absolutely fail. I completely agree with you. That is the answer. That is the key. It has to be that way. You are totally correct. Ownership mindset will save us or destroy us. Either one. So yes. All right. Let's see if I can grab some more of these. Where am I here? Let's see here. D says we talked about the political DNA test, but we talked about the advocates yet. We did already. I just did. Yep, I did. So I think we grabbed it. We grabbed it. I was late, but I did do it. I got to make sure I keep my sponsors happy. Of course, I do have to keep our I do have to keep it. Yes. Let's see here. We covered that one. Brona says, I disagree, Larry. Capitalism is clearly defined, and America don't fit in that definition. Well, okay. I'll go back to my thing that we often deal with, Bronner. You're talking about a clear definition. And I always talk about connotative definition. You're talking about denotative. Denotatively, you are correct. But again, I always go connotative. So this is where we often, we often split on this. And that is, I spend a lot of time understanding what people think regardless of definition. And what people feel, we are a capitalist, but it is a social type. That's what I would say. But if I'm just going to say the same thing. Denotative versus connotative. Denotatively, you are correct. Connotatively, I'm correct. That's it. And I care more about connotation because connotation gets votes. Denotation does not. Connotation does. Denotation might win a legal argument. Denotation is good when you're studying history. In politics, means almost nothing. Right? People say all the time, we're a democracy. Connotatively, they're correct. Denotatively, they're not. We're not. But I'm with you. So I guess it makes sense at least. So, all right. I want to grab some more of this if I can. D says, I didn't think Larry was going to touch the RFK piece. I don't care. Yeah. Mike says, political suicide to reveal non-public. Yes. Mike, you've been in those meetings. I've been in those meetings. You've had those phone calls. I've had those phone calls. I would never share one of those calls unless the guy ahead of time knew the press was in the room or ahead of time knew I was taping it, right? If I was like, Mike, come on in, I'm taping this call, or don't come in. And you go, I ain't coming in, or you come in. If you come in knowing I'm taping it, I tell you up front, or you come in and I tell you the press is in the room and you come in, that's on you. But unless I tell you that or tell you the press, then no. I completely agree. It was a terrible idea. It should have never been done. It was a terrible idea. So, but again, Mike Day virtue signaled. I tell people all the time, that's what matters. Virtue signaling is more important than anything else. And I wasn't joking. That's how they think. That's all I'm saying. So, all right. Let's see here. Michael says, we got to get Mike to take the gold pill. It's going to be hard. He don't want to take that gold pill. It's going to be hard. I'm trying, though. I'm trying. I'm on my way. It might take another 10 years, but we'll see. He don't want to take it. So, yes. All right. Let's see here. If I keep going here. Some of the things that's spinning, I'm sorry about that. Some of the comments are going away. YouTube is just YouTube. I'm sorry. YouTube is just YouTube. I apologize that. So Rico Rose says, humans respect humans, voluntary interaction. James says, instead of looking at how socialists are winning elections, how about we look at why they're winning? Absolutely accurate. James, perfect is what I've been saying. It's exactly what I've been saying. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Robert says, I don't think the tenets of self-government work for Black Americans who are racialized into the bottom of a race caste system. Black Americans need large government investment to undo whiteness. I would argue that if you look at what happened after slavery, it was working. government is what destroyed it, right? People always hear about Black Wall Street in Tulsa. That's the most common thing said. But Robert knows this. This is for the rest of the audience. There were many Black Wall Streets across the country. Literally what happened, for those who don't know, after Reconstruction failed, which was horribly failed, many Black people went off to their own and made their own self-government. They did it. There were many small areas that had Black owned this, Black only, Black everything. They did it. It was the government that came down and crushed them. The government that came down and bombed them. The government came down and shot them. Large government is what destroyed that. And every time you found Black ownership, Black Panthers, perfect example of that. Who came in? And that was Reagan in the 60s, California. And then the feds came in and literally murdered Black leadership. Literally, I'm not making that up. Literally murdered Black. The Black Panthers were trying to make self-government. Literally, they didn't want government handouts. The Black community saw what was happening in the 60s, 50s and 60s. And they didn't want to become wards of the state. They were literally forced by large government by murdering all of their leaders. I want to say that again. The federal government murdered all of their leaders, so they had to become wards of the state. I think I'm making it up. My Juneteenth show explains details from beginning to end. So the last thing I want is large government trying to help Black Americans. I want Black Americans to grow again like they used to. So I'm not sure I buy that one, Robert. And I think my example of the past was true. If the federal government had just left it alone and done nothing and left it alone, we would have had Black Wall Streets all over the country. And the Black population would have grown and become wealthy and rich on its own without government handouts. Leave the Black Panthers alone. Right? And then the Black community would have grown on its own without needing, remember, this is the 60s. They're trying to stop, the Great Society, which was basically the war on poverty, which destroyed poverty won. And then the war on drugs, which drugs won. So, yeah. All right. Anyway. All right. Let's see here. Grace says, if Black and brown people and young people got ownership mindset, it would be like the Emancipation Proclamation 2.0. Yeah, and I think you do find many immigrants. Now, immigrants are self-selecting, right? Meaning that immigrants aren't born here, so the certain type of people tend to come here. And that type of people tend to be more entrepreneurial. So yeah, you find more ownership mindset on immigrants than non-immigrants. Again, they are self-selecting. That's why. So yes. All righty. I think I covered that piece already. Oh, that's I covered a bunch of them. I hope they covered a bunch of them. Oh, hold on. Bronner is saying, I hope more of you can join Mike. Mike will do a 9,000-hour show on Monday. I mess with Mike. He starts, I think, at like 2 a.m. and then goes to like Thursday or something like that, and he doesn't stop. So you can pop in anytime. I'm kidding. He does a Sunday show. He will be on Sunday if you guys want to watch. I'm sure it'll be a positive and stuff. And the cool thing about Mike's show is that Mike will actually answer questions. He won't just go, Mamdani bad. He will go Mamdani bad. He will do that. And he will actually answer questions. So that's the cool thing about Mike. He'll answer questions. And he won't just yell at you. I mean, he might yell at you, but he won't just yell at you. So there's the advantage of watching Mike's show. I hope that's good. Get says, what? As a competitive young adult, how do I achieve a Lambo, a 5,000 square foot home, and a private jet under socialism? I will tell you how. You have to be in leadership class. That's how, right? And as I said, if you guys watch my show, my interview with Matt Kibbe, I say socialism is great when you're on the right side of the gun, right? When you're on the wrong side, it's terrible. But when you're on the right side of the gun, it's amazing. People do what I say, or I put them in jail. People do what I say, or I shoot them. I mean, it's amazing. So just be on the opposite side. That's how you get it, right? Now you might go, you're a young adult. Well, have your father or mother, probably father in this case, but either one, have your parent be part of the elite social class that enforces socialism. If you do that, you will be part of the elites and you get your Lambo, your 5,000 square foot home and your private jet. That's how you get that under socialism. right? So if you want socialism, just make sure you're on the right side of the gun and that your family is part of elite oligarchs who enforce socialism on the rest of the chumps. Then you're good. I don't know if that was a good enough answer for you, but that was a real answer. So, yeah. Okay. Barna says, I've been watching a lot of interviews with Malcolm X recently. I think Larry has a lot of Malcolm's speaking traits. I take that as a wonderful compliment. I don't know if you were insulting me or not, but yes, that is, yeah, I take that as a compliment. Thank you. Yes. All righty. Get says, I agree. Thanks for the response. Yeah, that's how you do it. Again, when you're on the right side of the gun, amazing. Socialism is awesome when you're on the right side of the gun. On the wrong side, that's just saying. You got to be on the right side of the gun for that one. That's it. If you're on the right side of the gun, you're good to go. That's all that matters. Yes. Robert says, it's so disrespectful for people to say blacks just the ownership mindset. There's a problem with black Americans in their mindset. Blacks are obstructed by government mandate from owning. So, yeah, no. First off, I never said it's just what they need. I did not say that. It is a key piece. Anything else given without that mindset will be wrecked and will not work. So that's the prerequisite. I didn't say it was the only thing. I never said that. And I literally said, we're obstructed by government mandate. That's why I don't want big government in this. So yes, absolutely. I didn't say it was the only thing, and it wasn't insulting. It wasn't meant that way. But if you do see it, why do you think there is such a, what is, I mean, you know this, Robert, but some people may not know this. The biggest attack that goes back and forth between black Americans who are freedmen and black Americans who are not, who are immigrant class, right? The biggest back and forth is, all you blacks are lazy. That's the biggest one. You know it. That's what it is. That's a thought process, right? They all think the immigrants all think they're better, they're smarter, they're faster, everything, right? They all think that. Of course they do. Well, why don't we have that response? I'm descendant of Freedman. So why don't we have the same response? No, we're better. You guys just came in. You didn't put up what we put up with. You didn't put up with that. You came from Nigeria. You came from Jamaica. You still got ownership in Haiti. You still got ownership in Grenada. Your family owns land in Dominican Republic. Your family owns land in Jamaica. Your family owns land in Nigeria. Who are you talking about? I don't think it's the only thing, but I think it's a key piece. To not think that, I think is not true. I think it's not true. So, Mike says, Malcolm X was a fantastic orator. True compliment to have some of Patterson. I agree. Yes, I agree. Lauren says, all of it's true, Larry. You are correct. Not trying to butt kiss. Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that too. Yes. All good. I appreciate all those guys. I want to ask you if I could please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. I know I ask you all the time. It does matter. Please do so. It does matter. Support the show. Check the link tree if you want to. It's in the description. And of course, you know that this AMA is today, so I will not be on tomorrow or Sunday, but I will be on with my Gov Shack on Monday. I will be there. And please, if you would comment after the live, and here's what I want to ask you, if you would comment on, do you think socialism is going to grow in 2027 or halt in 2027? So after this election, it's just going to be oh my God, look at it explode, or let's put a break on this. Maybe we're going too far. Do you think socialism will grow in 2027? Or do you think it'll halt in 2027? Doesn't mean a stop period, but I mean, pause. I say pause. Pause is better. Okay, one more time. Do you think in 2027 socialism will grow, or do you think 2027 it will pause? Will we be afraid when we see what happens in the elections and pause it, or will we be excited at the elections and then it will grow? Let me know in the comments. I will see you all very soon.